Be 2 weeks ready. Water Plan, Activity 14. Follow along on Toolkit, page 65.
Activity 14. Learn how to store water. Goal. Learn how much water you'll need and how to store it. Step 1. Determine how much water you'll need. How much water you need to be 2 weeks ready depends on several factors. Each person will need roughly 1 gallon of water each day for drinking, meal preparation, and cleanup, and personal hygiene. Each pet also needs roughly 1 gallon per day. Individual needs vary by age, activity level, health, diet, and climate. The amount of water you'll need will also be impacted by the kinds of foods you plan to eat: pasta, oatmeal, baby formula, powdered milk, etc. For 2 weeks without indoor running water. A medical emergency may also require additional water. One gallon of water per day per person assumes about 1/2 gallon for drinking and 1/4 gallon each for cooking and hygiene. One gallon per pet per day. This is a conservative amount that will need to be used wisely. It may seem like a lot, but you need to use this precious resource sparingly during disasters. For perspective, consider that on average during normal times, each person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water per day for indoor home uses. Flushing the toilet uses the most water, followed by bathing and showering. Water for livestock. Livestock and other farm animals can also be negatively impacted during disasters. Reductions in water supply can result in poor livestock performance and condition, as well as range damage caused by both overuse and underuse. Locating additional sources of stock water becomes critical to avoid damage to both animals and range resources. Farmers and ranchers are impacted by many variables that affect available water supplies. The Oregon State University and Washington State University Extension Services and local farm service agencies provide regular guidance, tools, and resources to farmers and ranchers on a host of topics, including water supply during times of water shortage. Find the OSU Extension Service office in your Oregon community by visiting extension.oregonstate.edu. Find the WSU Extension Service office in your Washington community at extension.wsu.edu. Check your water consumption practice tip. This is a great time to refer to your journal from Activity 1 to see how much water you and those in your household, including pets, consumed over 2 weeks. Consider practicing using only stored jugs of water for a few days to see how much water is used. Conservation tip. If you don't have access to large water containers that typically hold 7 gallons, you may consider using 2-liter soft drink bottles. These are equivalent to about 1/2 gallon capacity each and are a cost-effective way to store water if you're on a budget. They are readily available, sturdy, and small enough to be tucked away almost anywhere, even if you live in a small space. Try to rotate your water stash every 6 months. Water that's stored longer will not be as fresh, but can always be treated. A word of caution. While they are fluids, soft drinks, caffeinated beverages like coffee and tea, and alcohol should not be substituted for water in your calculation of water needs. These fluids will dehydrate the body and increase the need for more drinking water. Step 2. Sanitize water containers. All containers used for storing water must be sanitized before adding potable water. Wash containers and lids inside and out with dish soap to remove any dirt and debris. Rinse thoroughly with clean water. Add 1 teaspoon of unscented household liquid chlorine bleach to 1 quart of water. 1 quart equals 4 cups or 32 ounces or 1 liter. Pour the bleach mixture into a clean storage container. Close it tightly and shake it well to make sure the solution coats the entire inside of the container. Let the container sit for at least 30 seconds and then pour out the solution. Let the container air dry or rinse it with clean, purified water. Fill it to the top with clean water and seal it tightly. Be careful not to contaminate the cap by touching the inside of it with your fingers. Label it with the words "drinking water" and the date it was stored. Rotate water every 6 months to keep it fresh. Use water that's rotated out to water plants rather than dumping it down the drain. Treating water to make it safe. Water from municipal water sources is already treated to be safe, so no additional treatment is necessary. Fill the clean, sanitized food-grade container with tap water, close it securely, and label it with the words "drinking water" and the date. Water from a well or spring, which is known to be pathogen-free but not chemically treated, should be purified by boiling or by adding unscented household liquid chlorine bleach. See Step 2, Sanitize water containers. Step 3, prepare water for storage. Boiling is the safest method of treating water. Bring the water to a full rolling boil for a minimum of 1 minute or 3 minutes for elevations above 6,500 feet. Let cool. To purify, use a medicine dropper to add unscented household liquid chlorine bleach. Use new chlorine bleach because it loses its strength over time. Bleach amounts. 2 drops of 5 to 6% sodium hydrochlorite bleach per 1 quart of water. 8 drops or 1/8 teaspoon of concentrated 8.25% sodium hydrochlorite bleach per 1 gallon of water. Put the lid on and shake the mixture well. After adding bleach, you must let it stand for at least 30 minutes before using it. Store the purified water in clean, sanitized containers with tight lids. Step 4, label it and date it. Once your containers are filled with clean, sanitized water and are tightly sealed, label them with the words "drinking water" and the date. If you use larger containers for long-term water storage, be sure to use the proper bleach ratios to ensure the water is sanitized. Check OSU Extension's guidance for bleach ratios to be used for large containers of 5 gallons and greater. People can mark or decorate water containers designated for them. This can be a fun activity for kids. Step 5, store it. Carefully storing your water supply is important. Water is very heavy, over 8 pounds per gallon, and the people you live with may struggle to safely carry it, lift it, and pull it from overhead storage areas. Consider if it will be too heavy to transport if you must evacuate. Storing the water needed for 2 weeks may be unfeasible, particularly for those with limited storage space or for those on a limited budget. It's important to store what you can and learn how to find water in and around your place and make water that's safe to use when regular water supplies may be temporarily unavailable. Creative places to store water. Under beds and sinks. In cabinets and in closets beneath clothing, on shelves. In garages and storage sheds. In boxes that can be stacked and covered with a cloth and used as a table or a TV stand. Under car seats. Storing conditions. Store water where everyone in the household can access it. Store water in a dark, dry, consistently cool space that stays at a relatively constant temperature, 50 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 to 21 degrees Celsius. Do not store water in direct sunlight. Do not store water near chemicals, fuel, pesticides, herbicides, or products with strong odors that can be absorbed by the storage container and transferred to the water. If possible, store parts of your water supply throughout your living space. If a disaster damages part of your living space, you can still access other parts of your supply. Tip: store some water in a freezer, which is most efficient when it's full. Fill empty spaces with food-grade plastic or metal containers of water. Let the water freeze, then cap the container, doing this. Increases the freezer's efficiency. Creates jugs of ice that can be used in a cooler when transporting food or camping. Helps keep the freezer cold as long as possible in the event of the loss of power. Provides safe drinking water as it melts.